Okay, lesson 32. We're going to work with some radicals here. If you have the square root of a fraction, it's the same thing as saying the square root of the top over the square root of the bottom. So that's 7 over 10 when you simplify them, okay? Now, if you have a square root like this in it, but you can't take the square root of them, then you're going to split them up just like we did the one on number 1. But then we're going to rationalize the denominator. And I got to do that on this one too. Okay? Now, what's that one going to become? So that one's going to become the square root of 15 in the top and 5 on the bottom. This is going to be the square root of 15 on the top and 3 on the bottom. So now they're fractions, but I have to get a common denominator. So the common denominator is going to be 15. So I'm going to multiply this by 3 over 3 and multiply this one by 5 over 5. So I'm going to end up with 15 on the bottom, and I get 3 times the square root of 15 and 5 times the square root of 15. So you add those together, you get 8 times the square root of 15 over 15. Those numbers, 8 and 15, can't be reduced. Okay? Okay, so let's do the next one. Now, the next one's going to take a little bit more room, so I'm going to use another sheet of paper for that, just so you can see a little bit clearer. So I'm going to say 5, and then I'm going to split these up. Square root of 5. Remember, this 5 is in the numerator. It's like 5 over 1, so I'm going to put the square root of 6 here. And then I'm going to multiply it by the square root of 6. Sorry, square root of 6 over square root of 6. This one is going to be 4 times the square root of 6 over the square root of 5. Then multiply it by the square root of 5 over the square root of 5. Okay? So the top here is going to be 5 times the square root of 30 over 6. This is going to be 4 times the square root of 30 over 5. So now I've got the bottoms rationalized. Now I need to find a common denominator. It's going to be 30. So I'm going to multiply this by 5 over 5, so I get 30 there. And 6 over 6, so I get 30 here. So they're both over 30. I'm going to have 25 times the square root of 30 and 24 times the square root of 30. So this is 49 times the square root of 30 over 30. So what I want to know is, will these two right here cancel? And if they do not cancel, then I'm good. And they don't. So I'm just done. Okay? Now let's try this one. Well, actually, you try this one for a minute. Okay, pause the video. It's going to take you a little bit of time. Okay, so coming back to that, you should have done 3 times the square root of 3 over the square root of 7, and then multiplied it by the square root of 7 over the square root of 7. And then you should have done 5 times the square root of 7 over the square root of 3. Then you'll multiply that by the square root of 3 over the square root of 3. That's going to give you 3 times the square root of 21 over 7 and 5 times the square root of 21 over 3. Get a common denominator. So I have to use 3's and 7's here. So I get 21 and 21. Okay, this is going to be 9 times the square root of 21. This is going to be 35 times the square root of 21. So add those together and you're going to get 44 times the square root of 21 over 21. So once again, can you reduce 44 over 21? Well, do you see that here? Yep, it's B, right? So no, we're good. Okay? Okay, let's move back to there. It says number 5 says, if triangle EFG is congruent to HIJ, what 6 things can you conclude about the corresponding parts? So there's 6 corresponding parts in triangles, 3 angles, 3 sides. So you're going to know that angle E is congruent to angle H. Angle F and I, they're in the same order, right? Angle G and J. Okay, when you get ready to do the sides, do a pattern. Like I'm going to do the first two, EF and HI. So EF, this is a segment. It's congruent to HI. Okay, then I'm going to do FG and IJ. FG and IJ. Okay? And then I'm going to do EG and HJ. EG and HJ. Make sure you're not just writing the same ones in reverse. Okay? Those are the 6. 3 sets of angles, 3 sets of sides. So knowing that, and these two triangles down here are congruent, then we know that segment AB and XY are congruent because of the order this is written in. So AB and XY, that these two right here are congruent. So that means that 2x plus 20 is going to be equal to 4x plus 10. Okay, so just going from that very first one there. I can solve this. If I subtract 2x from both sides and then subtract 10 from both sides, I get that x is 5. Okay, it said to find x, so I found that one. Okay, and it said find p. So p is at zy, so I look up here, zy. The last two going in reverse, so CB. So p is going to be equal to 4x minus 6. But I know what x is. So I can say 4 times 5 minus 6. So that's 20 minus 6, which is 14. So your answer is A. Okay? Good luck.